Hi, my name is Brittany, and I am a wife and mom to 3 boys. And it's amazing to me how God has led me in my life, especially as a mom, especially in the birth of my middle son, who's profoundly deaf. God has been so, so good to me and my family, and I'm so grateful. I wanted to share with you about a resource Deaf Kids Connect has for families like ours. It's part of our family sign and play series, and it centers around the story of creation in Genesis 1. There's a couple of resources that we already have available that will support you in this. Number one, we have parent Zoom meetings, and those have been awesome. But when they're finished on different topics, we will have a blog post kind of related to that. And so we have a blog post already about how to teach your children the Bible and some different approaches and methods that can really help to make biblical concepts understandable for our deaf and hard of hearing children. So that's something I think would be great if you're interested in. Another resource related to this curriculum guide is our vocabulary video, where we teach the signs for everything you're going to need for this curriculum guide. So make sure you check that out as well. When it comes to creation, it's something that is so cool for me as a hearing mom to think about how God has revealed himself to all of us, but especially to our deaf and hard of hearing children. You cannot play outside and not see God's handiwork out there. And so it's something that I'm so excited that we are able to provide in this way. We as hearing parents are called to disciple our children. That's what God set up for us. And he designed that we would have deaf or hard of hearing children in our family. And so we at Deaf Kids Connect are 100% behind you, trusting that God will empower you and support you as you seek to train your children in the knowledge of him. And so this guide was written not for the perfect ASL signer, not for someone in deaf education, but for us hearing parents who are passionate about God's word and needing help in doing that. So you'll find on the guide, there's that vocabulary list that I mentioned, and we have the video to explain how to sign those things. And you'll find that while it's simple, the time that you set up with your family can be so impactful for God, that your commitment to teaching your children about God will be blessed as you walk faithfully in that. I wanted to share a few principles that might be helpful, especially as it relates to the creation guide. This is something I'm always pretty big on, and it's using a hard copy Bible. So the reason why I think this is so key, especially for deaf and hard of hearing children, is that this book, getting out this book and opening it, signifies to them that we're going to learn about God. And that learning about God is not the same as our Disney movies or our stories at bedtime or superheroes. Those are fun and those are fake. This is real, and this is where we learn about God, and it's true. And so when you let your child young, 2, 3, hold a Bible, they now realize that this is their connection to God and that it's available to them. It's not only for adults, not only for hearing people, but it's available for them. So I love the use of a Bible to signify, hey, we're going to sit down and we're going to focus on God's word. Second, as it relates to the creation curriculum, as I mentioned before, God's creation is all around us, and it's declaring his glory, declaring who he is. And so in the creation study guide, you'll find an activity where you can use sight, touch, taste, and smell, 4 of the 5 senses that all in our family can participate in. And that's a way to recognize, yes, God is creator of the universe and his bigness is hard to understand. But in our everyday, we can see his work and see his hand and experience his goodness. And I love that there's a way to relate what God's word says, who God is, to what we experience every day. So I encourage you, if you sit down as a family to work through the study guide, continue that conversation as you're around the dinner table and you're tasting delicious dessert. I know in our family, we love us some dessert. And so recognize that God is the one who gave us taste buds and the ability to make chocolate and all the beautiful things we see around us and get to experience. Bring those experiences back to our Creator, not just in your formal Bible study time, but as you go. Lastly, I wanted to talk about how creation is so fundamentally important. In this study guide, we don't go through the details of on this day he made this and on this day he made that. Feel free to do that if you feel that's where your family's at. But really, the intention is that God is our maker, which means he is our authority. As our children grow up, they're going to have a lot of questions about life. And we want to set the foundation that God is the one who decides. He made us, he knows what's best for us, and his way is the best way for us to live. When we're making decisions about what we think is right and wrong, or do we really need to obey our parents, our children can go back to the truth that if God is our maker, then we are his creation, and we therefore need to obey him. And he knows what's best, and he loves us. So I want to just remind you that the time that you take to share this creation guide and whatever else God puts on your heart, that time is fruitful for his kingdom. And you are not doing something minimal. You're doing something huge. I hope that you find that this study is helpful to you and encourages you. And we are praying and supporting you all along the way. And I'm so excited to see what God will do in your family as you submit to him and walk in the calling that I know he has for you and for your children.